Hello everybody, I'm Storm here, and welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV Online, Shadowbringers. In the last episode, we began exploring the floor of the Tempest here and arrived at Ondo Cups, the settlement of the Ondo, who we know as the Sahagin. And they, mentioned something about the return of the Ancients and, the lights that they had lit in the dark. And we wondered if we were emissaries of the Ancients. We weren't quite really sure what they were talking about, but we decided to kind of help out around to prove that we were not here to harm them, and that also to kind of offset the inconveniences that we incurred by removing all of the water. So worked on that and began analyzing these ruined structures in the area that Y'shtola believes were created by the ancient Ascians before the world was sundered into the 13 shards and the original source. Where these ruins were probably destroyed on the source, these ruins still exists in the shards. And so surmise that this is definitely where Emet-Selch is hanging out, because this is potentially where his people used to live, and that he may have, commandeered some of the ruins for his own use. So, in order to, get the Ondo to help us, point us in the right direction, we had to help them out with creating this ritual ceremonial lamp. We met this odd guy who, we gave the crystal to that we got from Brandon, and he made the lamp, and then he also provided us with the level 80 gear set. That is the current level gear set. At least it was the current level gear set at the time, though we have better now. And now we are ready to proceed on to where these lights are that the Ondo have been talking about. So, that's kind of where we're at. Now, I did take a look at the actual gear sets that you get down here, and I didn't particularly care for it except for the axe, because this is the axe that you get. And it's not bad. So I went digging for some of the old equipment sets and created a glamour plate for one of the original warrior gear. So I'm going to go ahead and actually switch back to warrior here. We've been playing as Dark Knight up to this particular point, but I think for at least this stretch, we're going to be playing as warrior. And hopefully, I'm hoping that it kind of will make sense eventually. That's my thought anyway. Alright. Well, let's go ahead and have a chat with the Ondo guide. And see what this is that they're talking about. Alright, the chieftain has bid me guide your steps to the Illuminated land. Come, the way lies downwards, follow the path of coral and rock, and join your comrades below. Alright, so we head down here, following the coral and the rock. And avoiding the hostile wildlife, though that one's probably going to have to go. Done. All are gathered then, yes? Then I shall describe the path you must take. Enter the cavern beyond and follow the wall down and down and down. Once at the bottom, find a passage to the northwest, then continue west and west and west. The way is not simple. Keep your friends within shouting distance and do not stray into the deep. Just before the journey's end, you will find the Caliban Gap and the barrier we've placed at its mouth. This obstacle will fade should you raise a hand towards it. We have made it so. A most succinct explanation. We thank you for your guidance. Alright, deeper into the depths we go. Well, they did say it was a trench, so yeah, the fact that we're going to be going down into the depths makes sense. And we are approaching the area that makes this my favorite zone in the game thus far. So far it hasn't really been anything that remarkable, but we've only seen half of it. Oh, come on, man. Really? Alright, he's dead. Our guide bade us travel to the cavern floor, and thence to the west. Yet would seem these twisting tunnels defy such simple instruction. Rather than rely on direction alone, I suggest we scout with care and relay the path ahead to those who come behind. Alright then. Yep, definitely not going that direction. Do these guys actually have anything to say here? The rock drops off sharply here, but I should think this coral thick enough to serve as a bridge. Don't slip. Alright, there's Alphino. Apparently he has something to say. Ah, Yame, you have a choice of two routes from here. You can either take the long way to the south along the rocks, or skip along this coral branch, as Alice has done. I, for one, shall be following my sister's example. Excuse me, I actually did need to clear my throat there. Alright. We're going to go ahead and follow the coral ourselves as well. Alright, there's Alice. Apparently she has something to say as well. There you are. Come on, I think I found the tunnel we were looking for. They did say it was west. Ah, that would probably be what we're looking for. Apparently somebody else is down here as well. Here, this must be the barrier the Ondo spoke of. Well, that was rather more arduous than expected. I feel a sudden rush of gratitude for the smooth roads our ancestors cut through the wilderness. 'Twas a treacherous path indeed. Now I believe one of us needs but raise a hand to banish the next obstacle. Ayame, I elect you to do the honors. Alright then. It seems to have worked. Gone, just like that. I suppose we should head in. Like as not, this tunnel will be just as perilous as the road we walked to get here. Let's all stay aware of our surroundings, shall we? Now, I did get all of the ether currents before this before recording. Except there are 2 left that are only accessible through here. And one of them should be fairly obvious. If I remember correctly. I mean, that goes all the way down, but I don't think we want to go all the way down. So I'm not sure how you would get back out. Strange glowing bones? Ah, there. Ether current. Let's go grab it. Let's mount up from here. Ah, there's Elise.
By the gods! When the Ondo spoke of a city, I did not think they meant an actual city.
Then we are seeing the same view. The remnants in the Ondo settlement were solid material structures. But these... everything here pulses with ether. 'Tis an enchantment on a monumental scale.
So yeah. A whole stinking city. Alright, let's see what Stola has to say here. Ayame, did you note the style of the architecture? It is the same used for the remnants and the cups and the murals painted towers. Look closely. Emet has not simply reclaimed these ruins, he has layered the semblance of an entire city upon them. Gods, the magnitude of this artifice is staggering. Though it pains me to admit, we do not fully understand the feats of which an old-world Ascian is capable. Oh, I gotta pick some stuff? Okay, we'll go with that one. Alright, Alice? It's intimidating, yes, but we have to start somewhere. Why don't we have a closer look at that tower to the southeast? We might be able to reach it from the edge of the trench. But first... there. And those should be the last two ether currents. Yes. The last two ones that are on the map. The rest we'll get from quests. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and do a quick to get rid of that aura, because we're not gonna be fighting anything for a while. Alright. Yeah, once you can fly here. I have, on occasion, just come down here to hang out. Alright, here's the imposing doors. Let's, see what's going on here. Look at the size of those doors. Now I know how pixies must feel. Ayame Yatsurugi recognized. Welcome to the city of Amarant. Will you be riding the lift? Did the building just welcome you? Mayhap it is not so passing strange. Did Emet not invite Ayame to visit his abode? He did. 'Tis plain thy coming was expected. And where will this lift be taking us? The lift services every level of Akora Heights, but is presently configured to convey passengers directly to the ground floor. Well, there you have it. In the absence of some few hundred yalms of rope, we have little choice but to accept the offer. With emphasis on the we. I'm not about to let you walk into that place alone. I wish to ride the lift. Ground floor. No. No. As you wish, the lift will arrive shortly. Alright, next up, ground floor. Facilities include the Bureau of the Administrator, the Bureau of the Architect, and the Capital. Alright. Welcome to Amarant. Lost city of the Ascians. It's only at this distance that you start to realize just how big the buildings truly are. What did that voice call the city? Amarat? Look, over there. Is that a person? Ah, no, my mistake. That's a giant. It doesn't seem to have noticed us yet. Giant or no, a resident of this place may have much and more to tell us. I say we make the first move. Alphino, you can't just... Ugh. And they really are giant. Excuse my boldness, but might I ask you a few questions? Oh, what adorable costumes! Are your children on an excursion? This district has much to teach you. How odd! That sounded like no language I've ever heard, and yet I understood every word. Just as he understood us. And which district is this exactly? You must be lost, poor things. You stand in the Polylerite district. Polylerite district. Wherein lie the institutions most vital to the management of our star. Can you tell us where to find Emmett Selk? Ah, I see. You've come to marvel at the workings of the Convocation of 14. Hardly surprising, I suppose. The whole world holds its breath as the final days draw near, and our brightest minds race to implement their plans. Thus, you must understand that gaining an audience at this time will be next to impossible. You should hurry home now before your families begin to worry. Do you need me to walk you back? No, thank you. We'll be fine. Very well. Take care, little ones. What was that all about? To my eyes, these people appear as arcane entities. I suspect Emmett Selk wove them from ether much as he reconstructed the rest of the city. The final days. Such words well befit the oblivion described to us by our Ascian foe. A catastrophe of unprecedented scale which did set in motion the summoning of Zodiark and thence Heidelin herself. But that happened centuries and centuries ago, didn't it? That man spoke as if they were rushing to avert a disaster here and now. Unless, for these people, the distant past is the here and now. I believe thou hast the right of it, Master Alphino. This ethereal Amarat and its residents appear to be phantoms of a different age. Emmett Selk hath resurrected a memory, a moment in time from before the star was sundered. So we find ourselves in a long-destroyed city inhabited by the long-departed. An unusual situation to be sure, but at least we're able to parley with these ancients. In fact, they seem downright eager to chat. I say we use this to our advantage, split up, strike up some conversations, and see if we can't learn the location of our quarry. Now, while we're at it, it wouldn't hurt to wheedle out a few more details regarding this convocation of 14 and their impending disaster. To mingling, then. Let's meet back here when our jaws start aching. Alright, so we need to kind of explore the area and find some of these conjured entities to talk to. Guess we'll head in this direction first. No one here on the street. Maybe they're in the building. The Hall of Rhetoric. Optimistic Amarantine. Twould seem the hall is host to a most precocious visitor this day. And what, pray tell, shall be the subject of our discussion, young one? The convocation and their handling of the coming peril? 'Tis only natural that you should have questions. Shall we begin with the members themselves? As all know, the 14 are the wisest and most puissant among us. They are the stewards of order, responsible for decisions which keep the star turning season after season. Be it the speaker, Lahabrea, or the emissary, Elidibus, each seat is occupied by an elected sage of surpassing intellect. Lawgriff, Mitron, Emetselk, their individual titles have, as a gesture of respect and a matter of tradition, become synonymous with their incumbents. Thus, it is with great incredulity that I greet this recent rumor that a seat on the convocation is soon to be left vacant. If proven true, 'twould be an unprecedented development, and testament to the immense pressure under which our saviors are toiling. In any event, I, for one, am confident they shall deliver our star unto salvation. Okay, so, interesting bit of info there, that Lahabrea and Elidibus and Emetselk are actually just titles, indicating their position on the Convocation of 14, not their actual names. Though their titles kind of eventually became synonymous with who they were. Oh, there's another one. Anxious Amarantine. Good gracious, child, where is your family? You should not be alone at a time like this. Run along home, quickly now. Have you not heard? Though yet confined to the lands across the sea, a terrible phenomenon afflicts our star. They are calling it the final days. 'Tis said it starts suddenly, a cacophonous keening from beneath the earth. The sound distorts all living things within earshot and wrests from us control of our creation magics. Once that happens, all is lost. Fear, pain, despair, every dread impulse is siphoned from our minds and given substance. An eternal fall of fiery rain, an incessant spawning of nightmarish beasts. None can point to the source of the phenomenon. 'Tis as if the star itself has fallen ill, as if a force inimical to life now festers and spreads. 'Tis only a matter of time until Amarat too resounds to that discordant squall. You should stay with your loved ones, child. Stay with them. Okay, a little information on what the problem was. Though the mention of these creation magics are interesting. Wait a minute, where? Oh, there's a aetheryte out there. Now, where is this? Oh, that's pointing back to there, and then this one's pointing this to there. Okay. This is the Bureau of the Architect. Pragmatic Amarantine. An audience with Emetselk. I'm afraid you have the wrong office, little one, and besides, he will be far too busy to field the questions of curious children. Surely you have been told of the looming catastrophe. Every resource available to the convocation must be spent ensuring our world survives. They have yet to make an official announcement, but it is said that the 14 are moving forward with a plan of scarce, credible proportions. One which promises to grant will to the very star itself. They will invoke our mightiest spells of creation to birth an entity of all-encompassing magnificence, and then they will rewrite the laws of existence. 'Tis a huge undertaking, and it must be completed ere the corruption spreads this far. Thus I say to you again, do not hold out hope for an audience. Alright. Again, just kind of more general information about the catastrophe that befell these people. Alright, so we turn and turn this in. Alright, Alphino. I am aim. If I was not certain before, I am now. The people of this city believe they face the end of the world. I cannot imagine what purpose compelled Emet-Selch to recreate this ancient Amarot. And yet, I fancy I hear his words to us echoing through this ocean trench. He would have his story known. Alright, more materia. Alphino is waiting to return to the other companions. We can compare notes once the others return. Hopefully then our next move will become clear. It would seem our conversations were much alike. A looming disaster, creation magics running rampant, and this convocation's efforts to bring salvation out of chaos. I suppose there was talk of little else in the time when these events came to pass. Eorzea, if I may, what are your thoughts on the ancients' art of creation? A fascinating discipline indeed. Aught the mind can conceive may be rendered in reality. All this requires a clear concept upon which to focus one's will. 'Tis not dissimilar to the primal rites taught by the Ascians, wherein ritual ceremony breatheth life into figments of myth and legend. I see. We arrived at the same conclusion, then. The people who lived in the age before the Sundering were blessed with vast reserves of mana. No matter how draining these creation magics must be, it seems they paid the cost with not more than a fraction of the ether which coursed through their own bodies. If we were to attempt the same, such spells would soon deplete our energies, and then seek to draw the balance from elsewhere, from a hoard of crystals, mayhap, or from the very land itself. Thus, when this art of creation was placed into our hands, it became, in effect, a means for destruction. An interesting matter which no doubt bears further study, but despite all these revelations, I worry we are no closer to finding Emet-Selch. Has anyone learned aught which might lead us to his location? Not directly, mayhap, but from what I've heard, it seems the Convocation of 14 is sequestered in the nearby Capitol building. When we went to see for ourselves, the attendant wouldn't let us through without a writ of permission. So we tried our luck at the Bureau of the Administrator, where we thought these permissions might be issued, but the clerk there said he couldn't help us since our names didn't appear in the registry. And that was where we gave up. I wonder, though, Ayale, could you be eligible for one of these writs? The voice in the lift seemed to know who you were. It might be that your name is registered at the bureaus as well. Worth a look, I'd say. Meanwhile, I'll head back to the capital and search for a less official point of entry, just in case. Pray allow me to accompany thee on thy reconnaissance. An arcane perspective may prove needful. I think I'd like to speak with more of these ancients. Maybe they know something that could help cure Ayame's condition. Would you mind coming with me? Of course, I don't mind. Just lead the way. Then Yustela and I will busy ourselves with further exploration. There is surely more intelligence to be had. And so we part ways once more. This time, however, let us reconvene in front of the capital. Alright. So we need to speak with the administrative clerk. So we need to go to a Bureau of Administration to get a writ of permission to get access to the capital. But it looks like we have side quests that give ether currents. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and do these on screen because they actually do give some interesting information here. So let's talk to the patronizing Amaratine. Alright. I must say, little one, those garments you're wearing, they are your own original concepts, I take it. Clearly they must be, given their rather singular flamboyance. I would never dream of stifling a fledgling creator's creativity, but the parade about in your cultivated individuality is hardly praiseworthy. An Amaratine of characters shares their creations with the community. They do not hoard them for their use alone. They delight in to delight in disparity is a mark of the morally deficient. Disparity engenders feelings of wanton resentment, which degrade the bonds of fellowship. Thus do we encourage creators to share and share alike, else we risk kindling the embers of covetousness and violence that ever smolder in the hearts of all. Therefore I must implore you, little one, to cast aside your original trappings and don the communal robes, that you might acquit yourself as an equal among many. In so doing, you will be afforded greater respect and autonomy. Worry not, for this will be a simple affair. I recall seeing a gentle soul outside the Hall of Rhetoric carrying robes perfectly suited for one of your diminutive stature. I am sure they will be glad to share their wealth with you. But do hurry, little one. The eyes of the collective are ever watching and weighing your worth. Interesting. So that's the reason why everyone's wearing the same thing. Alright, here is the person in question, the gentle Amaratine. Oh ho, aren't we looking rather smart this day? What can I do for you, little one? Robes to serve in lieu of your ensemble. Ah, how prudent. Alas, I have nothing I can offer you at this present time. The ones your associates saw me carrying earlier were a failed experiment. I never intended to make them so small, so I disposed of them shortly thereafter. A failed experiment? By your bemused expression, I gather you find it odd that your elders can fail in so simple an application of creation magics. It is more common than you may realize, little one. In this instance, a gaggle of children was passing by as I held the image of the robes in my mind's eye. Simply by becoming aware of their presence was the form influenced and the final product changed. All things considered, it could have been worse. Just the other day, I was attempting to conceive a white-haired lion when all of a sudden this exquisite eagle alighted on the nearby railing, giving me quite the shock and dramatically altering my initial concept. Yes, indeed, it was a most unexpected development, but not an altogether unwelcome one. Great strides are often born from unexpected impetuses. But even inspiration has its limits. For all the wonders we have wrought, I do wonder if there will come a time when we have fully explored the potential of our powers, when there is truly nothing left unmade, and only iteration and imitation and stagnation remain. But such esoteric matters need not concern you, little one. For now, I would encourage you to embrace your creativity and work your magics without fear of failure. Nevertheless, it would still be in your best interest to don the appropriate robes to avoid excess scrutiny. Why don't you go to the Bureau of the Architect and request the appropriate concept so you can fashion one yourself? Okay, to the Bureau of the Architect, then. Go ahead and complete each of these kind of independently. So he was trying to make a white-haired lion, and then an eagle came by. I guess he gave the lion wings? We've seen some winged lion creatures. Ah, there's the concept clerk. Too far away. Can't even see over the counter. Welcome to the Bureau of the Architect, little one. Are you here to request a concept for personal use? If so, what sort of concept did you have in mind? Ah, communal robes. They will take but a moment to prepare. But before I fill your request, I should caution you. Pardon me for asking, but your creative potential is, relatively low, is it not? We are trained to assess these things, and I fear that you do not possess the ability to express this concept in physical form. It's almost as though you completely lack it, though you can't possibly be. But regardless of the reason, you needn't worry. We have special tools that may be used to address this very eventuality. I will furnish you with an etheric rope that you can use to restrain one of the misbegotten cubuses that congregate in the plaza north of the Academia Niter. You'll need to weaken your quarry before you can reliably bind them, but once you have, you can repurpose their energies to create your own robes. Alright. Use the etheric rope on a weakened cubus. And those are over in this direction. I'll tune the aetherite eventually. I'll probably just do that on my own. Just want to finish this one up, then we'll probably call it a day, and then continue on with the rest of these quests next time. But for now, I just want to finish this up. I'm guessing that is what we are looking for. Gotta be careful here, because I don't want to kill it. Just weaken it. Done. Alright, so let's go ahead and turn this into the clerk. If we can get close enough. There we go. Welcome back, little one. Did you succeed in binding a cubus? I did indeed. You have done well, little one. Allow me to siphon his energies and prepare the matrix for you. You should only take a moment. Here you are, a creation matrix that you may use to generate your own robes. The concept is inscribed upon the crystal, which has been infused with the ether of the beast you brought me. What? Why are you looking at me as though you do not know how to channel the powers of creation? It is as natural as breathing. Even a newborn babe has the instinct. Even if your potential is lacking as one of our people, you must surely know what to do. Apparently not. So apparently even infants are capable of this. Alright. So I think we'll go ahead and stop there. I'm going to head to the Aetheryte Plaza. Get myself attuned there. And then we will continue on exploring Amarot and running through these quests and learning more about the ancients, or the Ascians. Well, what eventually became known as the Ascians. For next episode. So, hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Go ahead and like, subscribe, and comment, and I will see you next time.